This is tutorial 5-3 in GIS tutorial workbook 3. In this tutorial, we're going to be setting up a geodatabase topography. Now, before we begin, they want us to look at a PDF of some rules that we're going to be following. And to do that, you just go into your Esri Press folder, GIS-T3, and go to the data folder. And we're just going to scroll down, and it's right here. It's this poster. And what they want you to do is they want you to go in and kind of give this a look. And this will tell you what the rules that we're going to be doing and all the rules have in common. It shows you images, so it's pretty helpful. So this is something you might want to even print out and hang up if this is the sort of work you're going to be doing. So give that a look, and then you can close it once you're done. And we're going to start off in our catalog. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to navigate to your GIS T3 in data, and you're going to want to right click on City of Olander geodatabase, and you want to copy it. Then you can close your data folder. Then you want to right click on My Answers and paste. The reason we're doing this is in case we make a mistake, we can just delete the City of Olander that we just pasted and start again. So now we're going to open up that. We're going to go to the Property Data Dataset. And we're going to go to New. And we're going to add a new topography. This wizard will pop up. Just click Next. We're going to keep the name they give us, but we're going to change the cluster tolerance. Right now, it's incredibly small. As you can see, it's 0.00065 feet. We're going to get rid of 2 of those zeros. Now, they want us to select everything, which you can easily do just by select all, and then they want you to clear landing perimeter and zoning district masks. And then you just go to Next. And now what we're going to do is we're going to assign ranks to each of the feature classes that are inside our topography. Now the ranks determine how far a shaped feature will move. If it's 1, it's really not going to move at all. But if it's a higher rank, or I mean like a higher number, it will be moved more readily. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have 5 ranks, and then we're going to change parcels to 2, city area to 2, blocks to 4, and subdivisions to 5. So subdivisions will be the one that will most likely move to accommodate something else. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add our rules. And this is going to be much easier than the network that we did in a previous tutorial. So we're going to add our rules. And the first one is going to be parcels. Now you can open up parcels and choose a subcategory. Just choose parcels. And then you want to choose the rule must not overlap. And you just click OK. And right here it gives you a rule description. Now, there are a bunch more that we have to do. So let's go ahead and do those. So you just go to Add Rule. And it kind of helps because this has a memory to it. So if we have a lot that are rules that are in common, you won't have to change everything repeatedly, just one thing. Now you see these stayed the same, so all I have to do is come up here, choose blocks, and click OK. And this is where we open up our parcels. We choose plated. And you might want to do this a little bit slower than I am doing and give a look at some of the descriptions why you do this. Okay, and that's it. So what we're going to do is click next. Before you do that though, if you're doing this a number of times, you might want to save these rules. This will save a lot of time in the future. So always be sure that's an option. That way you don't have to go through and do this over and over again. And we just go to next. And it gives us a summary of what we've done. Then you just click finish. And it's going to create it. And then it's going to ask us if we want to validate it. And that we do. So you just click yes. And then you want to open up property data and click on property data, topography, and then preview. Now what we're looking at are all the errors. Now we're going to zoom in. And you can see we have different kinds. We have like these little points. We have these dark red. And then we have these polygons. So what we're going to do now is we're done with our catalog. So we're going to close that down. We're going to open up our ArcMap. And you're going to start with a blank ArcMap page. And you're going to add my answers, city of Olander, property data, and then you're going to add property data topography. Now it's going to ask if you want to add all the features associated with this topography. We do. Now, if you have any of these lines here, it happened to me a few times when I tried this, they come up red. It might confuse you when you're looking at the errors. So if that happens, I suggest changing it to a different color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start an editing session. So start your editor. And then we're going to add our topology toolbar. And this is right here. And this screen is going to get kind of cluttered because we have to use this air inspector. And what you want to do is you want to click this and drag it up so it's not locked to the bottom. And you just want to kind of put it over here, make it a little bit bigger. And if you have two monitors, if you can do the dual screen thing, this is actually a great time to be able to use something like that. Because you could put this box here on a whole nother screen, and that way you won't obscure anything that you're doing over here. So I'm just going to try to make it as clutter-free as possible. I have to keep it on this screen because you have to be able to see what's happening in my error inspector screen as well. And if I move it onto another screen, you won't be able to see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Search Now. And it's telling us that we have 543 errors. So what we're going to do is we're going to correct some of these. Quite a few, actually. But what we're going to do is we're going to load a bookmark. And we're going to be doing this quite a bit in this tutorial, loading and zooming to bookmarks. So we want to go to Topo 1 and Zoom 2. And I'm going to bring mine over because it's kind of hidden. We're going to be focusing on this area. What we want to do now is we want to change our show to lot boundaries must not have dangles. And you want to make sure this visible extent only is on. And we have 23 errors. Now they want us to select all our errors to actually show them. And as you can see, when I select one, it turns black. Now you could go in and hold the control button and select them all individually, or you can just hold the shift button and click on the last one while the first one is highlighted as well, and it'll highlight everyone in between. So these are our 23 lot boundaries that have dangles. Now this means that they either do not connect with the error, the other border, or they extend past it. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to extend. And we're going to choose a maximum distance of 10 feet. Okay. Search now, and as you can see, it got rid of all of them. What that happened was some of these lines did not fully extend. So we gave them a maximum of 10 feet to extend to meet that requirement. Now what we're going to do is we're going to once again try to search again, and you see that nothing is selected. We just got rid of 23 errors. Now we want to clear the visible extent and search again. We have 49 of them. Click on one, right click, and pan to. You can see it's right here. And they want you to do this to a few, just like, go see where these guys are. I'm going to extend all the way out. And I'm going to highlight them all. Going to right click, and we're going to extend. And we're going to keep it 10 feet, and then enter. And as you can see, we got more than half of the ones that were selected to be corrected. Now what we're going to do is we're going to search again. So we have 21 errors remaining. So we're going to highlight all of them. And we're going to right click and we're going to trim, because these ones might be extended too far. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a maximum distance of 10 for these. And this is going to trim them up to 10 feet to see if they fit the requirement then. Once again, we reduced it by over half again. Now what we're going to do is we're going to check out these final errors, and we're going to see what's wrong with them. So we're going to click on this guy, we're going to zoom to him, and we're going to zoom in a little bit more. And as you can see, he just hangs out right there. So for these, they want us to right click and select features. Now, as you can see, it's just that little tip that's selected. So we can just delete that. Now, if this entire line was selected, you might not want to do that, because then you would lose a whole line. And that's where the extend and trim would come into effect. So we're going to pan to this guy. It's the same deal with him, so we're going to select him and delete. We're going to pan to this guy. Now, this one is just out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm thinking this is an error. So I'm going to select this one and just delete. And it got rid of 2 of them. So now we're going to pan to this guy, and he does not look like he is the one that we want. So we're going to keep panning. That doesn't look like one we want. Pan. That one doesn't. And then this one and this one. Now, this one looks like it might fit our thing, because as you can see, it extends from here to here. But look what happens when we select it. It selects past this line, meaning that if we deleted it, this line right here would disappear. We don't want that. That's where the next tool comes in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add our next bookmark. Topo 2. Zoom to it. And we're going to visible extent only. And we only have 2 errors. And what they want us to do is click on one, click on the other. Now these should have snapped together, but they were probably just outside the tolerance level. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the second one. And we're going to choose snap. And we're going to give it a tolerance of 1 foot. Then we're going to click OK. Now you can see that it moved. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have to validate to make sure this works. That's where you come to this. Validate, topo, and current extent. You could do it for the whole thing, but that might take forever. So just do it in this extent. Boom, it's over. We search. No more errors here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of our visible extent only. Search for some more. We're going to pan to this guy. He doesn't look like he has anything else to snap to. We're going to pan to this guy here. And we're going to zoom in a little bit. Just move this guy over here. Okay, so we're going to want to choose this guy up here. We're going to want to right click and snap. Now if we do the 1, it's not going to work. So I'm going to use this measure tool. And it is just about 4 feet. So snap, let's try 4. It doesn't. That's because it was just a little over 4 feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to snap again. We're going to do 5. Okay, and then we're going to validate. And as you can see, we kept our lines. So we're going to zoom out. And you can see it got rid of that line there. So it looks much cleaner now. And that leaves us, if we turn our visible extent only, we go to this guy, we're going to pan to him. There's nothing we can really do for him that I know of. So we're going to right click and we're just going to mark that as an exception. Now we're going to zoom out to full extent. Move over a little bit so we can see everything. And we're going to do lot boundaries must not overlap. First, let's go up, show errors from all rules. We're down to 468. Now we had 539 to start with. So we are actually making a difference here. Pretty quickly too, with doing errors. So let's go back to lot boundaries. Must not overlap. And we're going to search again. And we have 7 errors. So we're going to add a new bookmark. We're going to add number 3. And what we're going to do now is we're going to subtract one of these lines because they're overlapping, and that's a no-no. So we're going to choose the first one, and it highlights this. And they want us to right-click and subtract. And if you click on this one, it highlights what line will be subtracted. Now, right now, you're looking at it, you can't really see what this is going to do. So what I suggest is you zoom out. You have to close that. Don't do anything. Zoom out. Move this guy over just a little bit. So let's subtract. And what's going to happen now is it's either going to delete this curved line, which is this road here, or it's going to do this little lot boundary. And let's actually zoom out a little bit more. So if I got rid of this curved line, it would look weird. This road would just kind of blend into this. But getting rid of this right here is not going to be as bad. So we're just going to get rid of that, and that looks more natural. Now there's a your turn where they want us to go through and do the rest. And it says all of them can be done this way. So rather than zoom to, pan to, because we want to stay out to where we can see what we're actually changing. Because they don't tell us every one to get rid of. We have to make that call. So it's better to see the big picture. Now we can get rid of that little line that just highlighted, or that segment right there. Now this one seems to be more desirable to get rid of. So I'm just going to get rid of that one. Zoom out a little bit more for this guy. Now, we could get rid of this line, or we can get rid of this line. Now, to me, I'm thinking it's this one. Once again, I'm not 100% sure because parcel creation isn't really my thing. I'm just making educated guesses based on what I see and what I think would work best. So what we're going to do now is we're going to subtract this one, and we're going to choose either this one or that one. And I'm going to get rid of this one. Because if not, let's put it back. I just did the undo button. And if I were to get rid of this one, now it's like that. And that just doesn't look right. So I'm going to undo again. Turn back on my property data. And that's why I'm getting rid of the ones that I do, just because me looking at this, those seem like to be the ones to get rid of. And here comes another tricky one. For this one, we can either get rid of this one or this one. Now, to me, getting rid of this one would just be weird. However, getting rid of this diagonal one seems just to create a large parcel, which could be for just like a bigger house or something. So I'm gonna get rid of that one just because it looks more correct to me to have at least one huge parcel here on this road rather than one that kind of connects two streets, it would just look weird to me. So we're going to pan, and we're going to subtract this one now. And we're going to get rid of that little line, or this curve. I'm going to choose this one. Now we're going to zoom out. Search again. We got rid of all the lot boundaries, must have overlap. Now they also want us to do city boundaries, must not have overlap. I did not get any. So I'm going to go to lot boundaries must not self-overlap. And search. I only have one. So I'm going to zoom to that guy, and then I'm going to zoom out. And this guy is actually easier to fix, because what we're going to do is we're just going to right click, simplify, and boom, we're done. Now we're going to add a new bookmark, Topo 4. Okay. And we're going to have the rule be parcels must not have gaps. And we're going to search. And if we bring this over, we have 52 errors. The reason we have so many errors is because if we select one, let's try to pick one that's easily seen. Now that these are selected, I'm going to zoom out because I selected the ones they wanted selected. So this way we can see all of them better. As you can see, it highlighted this over here. And the reason it saw as an error is because these parcels aren't connected with these parcels. The reason is because of the streets. Now these are acceptable errors. They're not even really errors. They're just acceptable they're exceptions. So what we're going to do is we're going to make these allowable. And they want you to go in, right click, and mark as an exception. That will take forever. So especially if you had over like 100 or something like that. So what you're going to want to do is choose the first one, shift, and choose all the rest. It highlights all of them. Now you might want to go through and look and make sure that these are actually reasonable. If you see one that could be questionable, unselect that one. But then you just right click, mark as an exception. And as you can see, they're all gone. So we just got rid of another 50. So let's come up to here. Rules from all errors, search now. We're down to 408. So we just did 130 errors since we started this. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom to a new bookmark, bookmark 5. So we're going to go to load, 5, zoom to. Bring this over here a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same selection that we did before. Parcels must not have gaps. Visible extent only. And there's 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to correct all these. And we're just going to make them all exceptions. And the reason we did that is now we're going to go up to errors from all rules. And we're going to search now. We have 16. If we didn't do that, we would have 27. So this is a way of limiting how many we actually get. But now what we're going to do is, I guess we're supposed to look and see what ones we should be fixing. And if you look, we have a lot a few that are lot boundary parcels. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it to that rule. So we're going to choose lot boundaries must be covered by parcels. And we're going to search. We have 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to select a certain one. Now, if we open this up, it will actually tell us what features which right here. And we know which ones we want. I'm just going to bring this down here a little bit. And what they want to show us is that there's been a change when this was created. So we're going to turn off property, data topo, zoning districts, subdivisions we're going to turn off. And we're going to turn lot boundaries on and off. As you can see, the property ownership does not have this lot boundary right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create that boundary. And you could use the info button to find out what feature that is, or you could just come in here and you have to turn it on back on, or you could just come in here until you find it. But they actually tell us which feature it is. So it's 2359.6. Now we can bring that over. And they want us to right click and they want us to select that feature. And what they want us to do now is they want us to split a polygon. Now, if you're using version 10, I believe the split polygon will be on this toolbar. If you're using 10.1 like I am, it's been moved. So I'm going to go to Customize, Toolbars, in Advanced Editing. And it's this guy right here, Split Polygons. Now in here, we're going to want to change the target to plated. And we're going to leave the clustering tolerance as is. And we just click OK. Now you might not notice anything happened. So we're going to clear our selection, turn that off. And I'm going to turn off property, data topo. And now if I turn off lot boundaries, you can see that that line has been created and this polygon has been split. So we now have that lot. So I'm going to turn back on lot boundaries, turn back on property data topo. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make property ownership selectable. And just that. I'm just clicking these a little too fast apparently for the program. Okay, now with that selected, it wants us to choose 2 pieces of property with the select tool. And it wants these 2, this one here and this one here. So just click on the line that they share and you'll select both at the same time, or you can do the control, hold the control button and do it that way. Now what they want us to do is they want us to go up to editor and they want us to merge. And this is the one where we choose which one gets merged to which. You want to make sure the bigger one is selected. This way, its attributes will be selected. Basically, this park is eating this property. So we want to keep a majority of the park attributes. Area will obviously change. So click OK. And we still have that line there. So we're just going to clear our selection. That's because we have to validate in current extent. And we got rid of that line right there. Now, if we select it, we can see that it is right there. Okay. Now we're going to find some errors for a new rule. And that's going to be block's area boundary must be covered by boundary of parcels, plated. So we're going to come up to this one right here and current extent. And we're going to highlight all the ones. I'm going to clear that selection. And you should have something that looks similar to my screen. Actually, I'm just going to move this back over here and do this. This is why I said having the dual screen is a much better way, because I could have this error inspector on a totally different monitor and not have it blocking my view. Okay, so you want to highlight all of these in here so they become black like they are here. Then we want to right-click the selected ones over here and click Select Features. As you can see, 8 features have been selected. And now we're going to do a search by location. So we're going to do Select by Location. We're going to choose Property Ownership. We're going to have blocks as our source. We're going to make sure you selected features is chosen, and then you want intersect, or in the book it just says intersect, but on my version it says intersect the source layer feature. Then you just click OK. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change these because they're not the correct these are plate pending. They should be plated. So we're going to change them to be plated. So we're going to open up the attribute. I have to move this guy once again because he's kind of in the way. And you're going to want to come up here and you want to put property ownership and make sure property ownership is selected because it will change it for all of them. Then in here, you just want to click, and then click on this dot, dot, dot. Choose plated, and OK. This will pop up. You just click yes after giving it a read. Okay. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to search again. First, we're going to zoom back into this one and search. Now it says here I have 8. Errors still, it should say I only have 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to validate, search, and now we only have 2. And we're going to fix these errors now. So we're going to highlight both. First, we're going to see which one is which. So that's one, and there's a line right over it. So now what we're going to do is highlight both, select, and select both features. And then we're going to merge these 2 polygons together. So to do that, we go up to Editor, Merge, and you click on this one to see which one is which. So the one they want us to do is combine to block B. So we're just going to do that. They don't really give a reason, so we're going to click OK, and we're going to validate again. And search, we got rid of all those errors now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to zoom to another area. We're going to load Topo 6. And this might look familiar. And we can close our editor, our error inspector now. If you remember in previous tutorials, we created some features around here. What we're going to do is we're going to add those new features. And we're going to select, we can close this bookmark manager. Keep these here for now. We're going to go to selection. And we're going to make sure property, ownership, and lot boundaries are selectable. We're going to click on that. And then we're going to do a select by location. And we're going to make lot boundaries our target. Make sure you get rid of property ownership. And we're going to make property ownership our source layer. And we want the use selected features options chosen. And then we want to use share align segment with the source layer. We're going to click OK. And you should have 45 lot boundaries chosen and 1 property ownership. They want us to delete these. And this is another reason why it's very important to copy and paste the geodatabase in the beginning, because if you deleted that, you'd be kind of screwed if you ever had to do this again. So we're going to delete. And then we're going to turn off all the lot boundaries except, or I mean all the layers except the lot boundaries. So we're going to come over here, turn off that guy, that guy. As you can see, there's a big hole here now. We have to fill that hole. And we're going to do that by adding the feature that we created. They actually have us use a different one. So we're going to go up to Add Data, go to My Answers, City of Olender, and Sample Data. And we just want to choose the landing. As you can see, it filled it in. Now they want us to right click and select all. Then they want us to copy, then go to edit and paste. Now, for some reason, this did not pop up a few times, so just keep trying it until this pops up because you need this. If it doesn't, make sure lot boundaries is selected, and then you want to choose lot boundaries and click OK. So what it's going to do is it's going to paste this to lot boundaries. So now we're going to turn off the landing and clear our selection. And as you can see, it added those features. And what we're going to do is we're going to validate, turn on our property data topo. We're going to validate it in current extent. And as you can see, we have a lot of errors. So we're going to open up our error inspector once again. Lot boundaries must be covered by boundary of parcels. And then we're going to search. We have 631 of these. So we're going to want to select all the ones associated with these. Fortunately, it's all of them. Okay, I'm just trying to make it to where I can see the whole screen. There we go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create some polygons to make this rule a possibility. And once again, if you are working on 10, it should be, the construct polygon should be right here on topo. If it's not, it's going to be on advanced editing, and it's right here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to right click on our errors and select the features. And as you can see, it now has become chosen. Now if we click on that, you get this error. There's a reason for that. It's because they had us turn off property ownership. Turn that back on. Do it again now, and now we can do it. So you want to go to template, and you want to change it to plated. And click OK. They want us to change the tolerance to 0.09 feet. Then just click OK, and it created polygons. We're going to validate. And as you can see, it got rid of all but that guy right there, which could probably be fixed later on with a different tool. So we went from having 631 errors to 1. But we're not going to worry about that one right now. What we're going to do is we're going to add one more bookmark and zoom to it. And what we're going to do is we're going to get this to match up with that. And I'm just going to move this out of the way. And we're going to be using our topo edit tool. And you're going to select this right here. And with your finger pressing the N button, you're going to want to click and drag this. Let's undo that. Hold the N button, and it's not letting me do it now, and I don't know why. It could be the shortcut keys on this version of are different. So I'm going to click and drag it to here. And that's not correct. It was letting me do this earlier, and I'm not sure why it's not letting me do it now. that is not correct. So I do not know why this is not working right now. It was working before. Okay, so we're going to run our validate. Go to bookmark 7, validate. Click this. And I guess that's it. Then we hit validate to see our results, and it snapped. So I'm just going to do that over again because it was probably a little bit confusing for people. So what we're going to do is you're going to go to bookmarks, topo 7. You're going to validate. Then you're going to click on this right here. Then holding N, you're just going to click it and drag it up here to where it's on that node. Then you're going to validate, and it moves it. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to do the same thing with this one. I believe we're done with that, so you can just get rid of that. Now, we have some error right here, and that's not supposed to be showing up. This is probably up a little too high, so we're just going to click that and bring it down and validate. And there we go. This worked much better for me before. I'm not sure why it's giving me problems now. But as you can see, it now got rid of that gap. But we do have a problem here with these polygons. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to these polygons. And we're going to use this guy right here, the Fix Topo Error tool. We're going to click on it to select this right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to merge it to either this or this. Now, to me, it looks like it belongs over here. So we're just going to right-click, merge, and just like we've done a few times, you just choose which one you want to do it with. I'm going to choose property ownership. And then they want you to go up here a little bit, choose this guy, and do the same thing. To me, it seems like it goes to the property. This one, the same thing. Now, this might not look perfect to you. The reason being is because this is the first time you're probably doing this, and it's not going to be perfect. So we're going to go to our bookmark 6, and they have one more thing they want us to do. That's a year turn. And they want us to go to lot boundaries must not have dangles. So these are things that you just have to keep practicing with. Now we have 19 errors. We're going to do what we've been doing. Select them all. Right click, extend, enter. We got rid of a lot. Now we're going to trim them. Now we have 2. Let's zoom to one of these guys and see. To me, they look like exceptions. And if you wanted to, you could click on this and you could assign where these go if they showed up for you, and choose what property is supposed to be which one. For instance, this one merges with that one. And so on. But if you can get them to line up better, try that. I'm not sure why it's not working for me. It was before. But sometimes these things are just a hassle, and I don't want to keep going in and make this like an hour-long one, just trying that one thing. So that's it for this tutorial. This is highly recommended to do this one multiple times. It took me about 4 times to actually get through it this smoothly. That's it for this tutorial.